Hey, Shalom Makim, this is Yabatazah. I want to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Shemel Shai. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. Much love and respect to all you brothers out there doing the work in sincerity and truth, striving for the hopeful elect, enduring afflictions and seeking out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Yahweh Shemel Shai Wahabrakah Kadash, Barakatam Akim. Alright, I just want to go into regarding the birth of Yahweh Shai. I was watching some of the video that the brother Shamar from GMS Dallas was doing earlier today, and cons. I want to go into it a little bit and just prove that Yahweh Shai wasn't immaculately conceived. All right, he was brought forth as all men that are brought forth on the earth, okay? And it's of no marvel, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to start off first here in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 35. It says, "But some man will say, how are the dead raised up? And with what body do they come?" Okay, so there's questions that individual people ask, like, well, how is that possible? How do they come back? Or how do you, these different questions. It says, "Thou fool, that which thou sowest is not quickened, except it die. And that which thou sowest not that body that shall be, but bear grain. It may chance of wheat, or some other grain. But Yahweh giveth it a body as it hath pleased him, and to every seed his own body." Okay, so I'm gonna go into that word seed, which we all know what it is. But there's a process, there's an order on how things are brought forth. Okay, that go about being, whether they're going into the spirit world or they're coming onto the earth. Slakia, it's not gonna let me go into there right now. I don't got service. Well, it says 4G, but I don't have the capability of getting into it right now because I'm on the road. But that word seed there goes into that word. It's the Greek word sperma, which when you look into that word, the first definition you're gonna find is it referring to plants, and it's called germinate. The way plants reproduce is they germinate. Okay, and that's how they well, there it goes right now. Bring it up. Go to the word seed. Oh, really don't bring it up. Okay, the outline of biblical usage, you'll see that it says sperma. That's where you get the word sperm. Okay, the outline of biblical usage from which a plant germinates. Okay, the seed that is the grain or kernel which contains within itself the germ of the future plants. Okay, so Yahweh Shai was a future prophecy that was going to be fulfilled through that genealogy lineage that is found in Matthew chapter 1. Okay, that's how he came forth into the earth, is by that seed. Okay, that seed in the tribe of Judah carried the grain or kernel which contains within itself the germ of that future plants, which means that future, or that sperm of the future plants. Okay, because even when you read the Bible, the Yahweh Shemel Shai likens Israel as a garden, as trees or some form of vegetation that grows. But in order for it to grow, it has to have a seed. Okay, so it's not hard. It's of no marvel. But to those that have been bewitched, they fall into that Greek and Roman mythology, that Norse mythology, Egyptology, all that all those myths. Okay, and they believe in all that nonsense. Okay,
even when you look into the story of Alexander the Greek, or Alexander the Great, his mother told him that he was immaculately conceived, that Zeus laid with her, and that she felt lightning strike her, you know. And if you read, like here at the very bottom of this word sperma, at the very bottom of the outline of biblical usage, it says of divine energy of the Holy Spirit operating within the soul, by which we are regenerated. So basically, that's the same thing that she was saying to Alexander when he was a little boy, that she felt lightning strike her, and that's how he was conceived. That Philip of Macedon, his father wasn't his real father; it was Zeus. Okay, so this fable, this made-up lie, has always been throughout all the generations prior, even starting with Semiramis and Tammuz and Nimrod, you know. But of most recent, that's one of them, going back to Alexander the Great. Okay, so it's of no marvel that it's happening in our time, referring to Mary and the baby Jesus. Okay, but that's why we have the scriptures to understand and to know and to verify, you know, these things, and to break down strongholds. Okay, so if you keep reading, it says the semen, for real, the product of the semen, seed, children, offspring, progeny, family, tribe, posterity, whatsoever possesses vital force of life-giving power. Okay, so we know that Yahushua comes from the tribe of Judah, and that genealogy, lineage that's found in Matthew 1 is all about Judah. Okay, and he was going to come forth through that lineage, through that line. All right, so it's the product of this semen, seed, children, offspring, progeny. Okay, so it's of no doubt that Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua came as we all do, as every single man that's been on the earth. Nobody's immaculate conceived and just comes out of nowhere. That's it's like the Big Bang Theory. The same nonsense. You know, there's order and processes of the process of things that coincide to reach its final product. Okay, and Yahushua, his mother and father, which is Joseph and Mary, had sex and therefore brought forth Yahushua. It's easy, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go back to 1 Corinthians 15 and Salaki, give me 1 second. 15 and 36. Thou fool, that which thou sowest is not quickened except it die. Okay, so even when you die, you're still living. Our spirit is within this house, his body. So we go back to the spirit realm. Okay, and it says, and that which is sowest, thou sowest, when you plant seed, right, you throw it out into the earth. Thou sowest not that the body shall be, right? You don't just throw it's just like in the Dragon Ball Z, when they had like the capsule, and they would throw it, and the time machine would pop out of nowhere, the capsule. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all brothers that watch Dragon Ball Z, y'all should know what I'm saying. And it would just pop out of nowhere, you know? Or like even Ant-Man, right? When they have the little micro building, and then they can minimize it or turn it into actual real-time size buildings or vehicles. You know, they would just toss it and then boom, it would just, you know, expand. No, because there's a process to it. That's why Paul's telling you here, and that which thou sowest not that body that shall be, but bear grain. It may chance of wheat or some other grain, but Yahweh giveth it a body as it hath pleased him, and to every seed his own body. Okay, so Yahweh Shai came forth as we all did. It tells you that in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, man. You know, but like we all know, man, that not all men have faith, and not everybody's gonna believe. All right, But I mean, it's still our job to continue to push these things, even though it's repetitive, you know. So I'm gonna read Wisdom of Solomon 7:1. I myself am also a mortal man, like to all, and the offspring of him that was first made of the earth. Right, because even Yahweh Shai, or when you read in the epistles, Adam was the first man, and Yahweh the first living soul. But Yahweh Shai, the second Adam, was a quickening spirit. It tells you the same thing in 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Okay, it says, and was first made of the earth, and in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in the time of 10 months, being compacted in blood, and the seed of man, and the pleasure with that came with sleep. So King Solomon is verifying that he came like we all, like every man on the earth, through the seed of man, right? And when I was born, I drew in the common air and fell upon the earth, which is of like nature, and the first voice which I uttered was crying, as all others do. I was nursed and swallowed in cloths, and that with cares. For there is no king that had any other beginning of birth. For all men have one entrance into life, and the like going out. See? So we know that when you come into the earth, it's because a man and a woman, they have sex, and they bring forth life, you into this existing world, this material, tangible world. All right, and when you die, your spirit goes back to the heavens, according to Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Okay, the flesh returns back to the dust, and the spirit goes back to the Father who gaveth it, or who giveth it. Okay, which you're still living. It's just the body expires. You know, even Esau says that. You know, he expired. Okay, when you die. All right, because we all have an expiration date. We all have a date stamped on us, man. We don't live forever, but the spirit is what keeps regenerating. It keeps coming back and forth through that cycle. Okay. So from there, oh snap! Hang on real quick, man. And that's where it talks about cunningly devised fables and wise fables. All those things you have to, when you come into the truth, you have to research and Google like origins of so and so, you know, the virgin birth, and hell, and angels and demons and Satan, Lucifer, all these things, because all the things that we learned prior in the churches are cunningly devised fables, and they all get those from ancient civilizations, man, like the Babylonians, the Egyptians, all right, the Romans and the Greeks, the Norse gods. Okay, but what it is that those heathens are trying to create their own reality of salvation and power and things of that nature. Okay, but there's only one. All right, let me go to Hebrews chapter 2, verse 14. It says, "For as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood," see, "for as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood." How do you have flesh and blood? Because your mother and father have sex, and they bring forth you compacted in the womb for 10 months. All right, you're compacted within blood and flesh with 10 months in your mother's womb, as I read in Wisdom of Solomon 7. He also himself likewise took part of the same. See, he took part of the same process. Joseph was handpicked, as Mary was handpicked, to be together, and through those two vessels, Yahushua was going to come forth. Okay? All right? So it says, that through death, he might destroy him that had the power of death, that is the devil. Okay? Which is Esau. Because at that time were the Romans, you know, which ultimately grew into violence, the relationship that Israel had made with the Romans. Okay? And it says, and deliver them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. For verily he took not on him the nature of angels, but he took on him the seed of Abraham. You see? So Yahushua was in the heavens, man, with his Father. He didn't come down as in his true nature, as far as being heavenly, you know, with power of the heavens. He came down as the seed of Abraham, man. You know, that's what he came down as. Okay, through that promise seed, man. It's plain. It's self-explanatory, man. All right. It says, wherefore in all things it behooved him to be like unto his brethren. See? Even though Yahushua created, Yahushua, the Elohim that's spoken of in Genesis chapter 1, when it says God created, it's talking about the Elohim, which is plural, was the angels. Yahushua and the angels. All right. He had created man on earth, man. All living creatures. So it said, wherefore in all things it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren, that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to the Most High, to make reconciliation for the sins of the people. So how would that be a proper sacrifice to Yahweh if he came, you know, cheating or, you know, using that power that he had in heaven? It wouldn't be valid, man. You know, it wouldn't hold no weight. So, you know, for in that time he himself has suffered being tempted, and he is able to succor them that are tempted. Okay, so he was tempted in all ways, man, all manners. So I'm gonna go over here to the Romans chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, Paul, a servant unto Yahushua Mashiach, called to be an apostle, separated unto the gospel of Yahweh, which he had made promise by his prophets in the holy scriptures, concerning his son Yahushua HaMashiach our Lord, which was made of the seed of David, according to the flesh. Okay, is not Joseph his father's? Is not Joseph, Mary's husband, not found in that genealogy, Salaki, that genealogy lineage in Matthew 1? Is his name not found in that lineage? Okay, so how would Yahushua come out of the seed of David according to the flesh? Unless they had sex. Because Joseph's name is found in that lineage, man, when you read it down in Matthew chapter 1. And declared to be the Son of the Most High with power, according to the Spirit of holiness, by the resurrection from the dead. Okay? So let me just bring that one out when I'm talking about Matthew 1. It says, the book of the generations of Yahushua Mashiach, the son of David and the son of Abraham. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac begat Jacob. Jacob begat Judas, which is Judah, and his brethren. See? Alright. So you read down. It says, verse 17, so all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations. Salaki, let me go up. It says right here in 15. And Eliud begat Eleazar, and Eleazar begat Mathan, Methan begat Jacob, and Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Yahushua, who was called Yahushua Mashiach, the Messiah. So all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations, and from David unto the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations, and from the carrying away unto Babylon unto Yahushua Mashiach are 14 generations. See? So concerning Yahushua Mashiach, he came of the seed of David, man. So that's plain, man. You know, if you scriptures say faith cometh by hearing, and the hearing of the Most High. And if you can't receive, you can't receive it. But those that do receive it, there's one of the part, you know, of a breakdown of the virgin birth, the immaculate conception that they call. All right. So I hope it was edifying.